All right, welcome to another episode from the chart reader. So my last weed video was very negative, very bearish, but clearly that is not going to be the case on this one. So much good happened really at the end of Friday, which I think is my favorite part. It's still relatively fresh. So I threw a Google search real quick just to show it, but yeah, Kamala Harris making some pretty loud statements about reschedulization. So that is definitely what's happening. I mean, you can see it already. This is a regular hour candle, all right? From the 9th, we've never broken that 8 and the 20 except for a couple of little bad ones, right? This one seems different, especially when you add after hours, right? So crazy, crazy candle there. I think the loudest one for me is CGC. It seems like we are no longer in that black hole abyss, right? Because again, regular hours did well. You know, I don't care too much about post market, but I think when the sector is doing the exact same thing, it's a little harder to ignore, all right? So really excited for this one, all right? So before we go any further and I give you more of my thoughts and opinions, what are we gonna do? Same thing we always do, right? We'll take a look at the daily and the weekly to see how these things are setting up short term. We have our 5 moving averages. There are horizontal support and resistance lines that I do draw manually myself. And then when we are done up here, we'll use the MACD, excuse me, RSI and volume as our lower indicators. Hey, really quickly, if you can please subscribe to this channel, share this video online with your friends, comment good or bad if you disagree. Look, anything you can do helps me so much with these YouTube algorithms, but for real, just being here and giving me your time, I'm so grateful for it, all right? So let's get into it one more time. Let me just flash the headlines. You can clearly click into any of them and get more, right? But Kamala Harris is making some loud statements, and if you watch my last video, I ended it by saying how disappointed I was in this like 24 election moment, all right? I sincerely believed that the 24 elections were going to be amazing for weed, all right? I made a video, I think maybe even December, let alone January, but I gave my just like overall thoughts for the year. And one of my theories was some politician who's probably losing is going to make a Hail Mary attempt and get really loud on weed. I thought, to me, that would make a lot of sense. I thought that would bring some good headlines and this and that, right? My problem, I think, was we fell to 2 candidates way sooner than I expected, all right? And look, I'm not a political person. I don't really follow the elections. I don't know how long it should have been before we fell to these last 2, right? Trump and Biden. It felt really quick. Like no one was coming close to beating Trump, obviously, right? We saw all the primaries and the caucuses. He destroyed it. Everyone dropped out. Not a lot of people are going to run against Biden. He's already the president, right? So it looks bad if a Democrat's like, I don't want you to be president again, right? And then third parties never really do much. This Aaron Rodgers guy, what is it? I think he's a Kennedy. That's going to be an interesting wrinkle. I might talk about that a little later. But nonetheless, right, there was no really big political news. And I think that more than anything really slowed down a lot. Obviously, I talked a lot about this TLRY earnings specifically. But when we look at MSOS and the other one shortly, it felt like the news was missing, all right? So last week's video, I was bearish. I was very negative on all the weed stocks, right? And a couple things, right? You can see there was a real big volume drop. Clearly, that got fixed on Friday, which I'll talk about shortly. When I went through all 4 of the tickers, I mean, they all look bad. Like there was a lot of bad going into last week. And hey, you know, fun fact, you know, Kamala Harris doesn't have my cell phone number. It's not like she's texting me saying, hey, don't be negative. Next week, at the end of the week, I'm going to say something, right? Like I'm not here to wish and pray and hope that news is going to fix it, right? I'm here putting my money in better places while this thing is going down. Once it looks like things might be different, oh, I'm ready to put my money back, right? And that's my game. Look, I love the long holders. Believe me, I believe in weed. I do. It is hard to imagine weed will not be the same thing as alcohol and tobacco and other vices, right? I mean, people pay money for vice. Prostitution isn't even that legal, and still, that's a $1 trillion industry. We all saw that $900 an hour chick that was on the Warriors game. Like, vices make money. And this is, the favorite vice of many. You know what I mean? So believe me, I get it. My problem has been and continues to be the rules are not set up well. And this is the one that we're waiting for. I think this is the loudest of, look, I'm not here believing that there's going to be a bank, safe act. I'm not, right? Like one day, yeah, there will be. I don't think that's happening anytime soon. I think this reschedulization thing, it was obviously really loud a few months ago. It was actually a little loud in 23 as well, right? But this is what seems like the first real federal thing that should happen, right? So really, really big that it brought us in. And look, let's get into the technicals now, right? So where are we? Again, I want to start down here. I love the volume pop, all right? This 4-day ridiculous drop, this 4-day horrible miss from the 50-day average, oh man, that seems to have been wiped away. And again, with the belief of the news, do I actually see the post-market? Yeah, you can see it still went up a little bit in post-market, right? Like it's hard to believe volume's not going to be here on Monday. So that I feel is a good little check mark that got fixed, all right? MACD and RSI have not looked good for a minute, right? Both very, very flat. MACD has been in the negative for what? It's basically since this earnings reaction, right? Basically a couple weeks after that. So it seems like this divergence right here is real. It does. I see the green going above the red. I see the green going above the red. I see it starting on both. This seems like it'll hold, right? Look, again, I always say, I don't trust post-market, all right? But when I see post-market here, when I see post-market here, when I see post-market here, right? When I see, did HITI pop as well? This one didn't as well. I thought it did. A bunch of them, right? Like when the SNDL did Sandal pop. Look at SNDL, right? When the post-market looks great across the sector, it's hard to ignore. When I click into this, when I look at the post-market candle, the high of the day was 188. The close of post-market was 188. There is no wicket, till 5 o'clock my time, 8 o'clock Eastern, anything in between, till the very last second, people were buying and buying and buying and buying and buying and buying and buying. And it was finally like, you know what, we're done. Come back after the weekend, right? There is a lot to like here. There is, all right? Again, nothing has happened yet, right? All she's saying is hurry up, do it as quickly as possible, all right? Other people have said, hey, let's do it as quickly as possible, right? It needs to happen, but truth be told, buy the rumor, sell the news will make you a lot of money, all right? The rumor is she's pushing for it. The rumor is she's vice president. She's a little more important than the others that have been saying it, right? Just the president's the only more important person that can say it, right? So there's a good rumor brewing here, all right? The last thing I want to show, this is the 15-minute chart, okay? This is the entire Friday, okay? I'm not showing post-market, but look, most of Friday was nothing. 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 It wasn't till the last hour and a half that the pop happened. This is fresh news. This is not very, very, believe me, I'm a little disappointed it ran after hours, right? Like, that's a good run. That's a real good run after hours. And hey, we kind of saw that on SoundHound if you were watching those, right? But nonetheless, to me, an hour and a half of pop, again, just look at the volume. Look at the volume, right? It doesn't really pick up till the end, right? Like, this is still fresh enough for me to really believe that there's more coming, all right? We need confirmation. We cannot underestimate the 8 and the 20, especially since we've seen it kicking the stock's butt since the earnings, right? But this is a rumor. This is a juicy rumor. This is a rumor that started by arguably the second most important person in the nation. Obviously, we'll keep like conspiracy theories about billionaires controlling the world and stuff like that on the side, right? But unless Biden said this, Kamala is probably the second most important in the government, right? So we're basically kissing the 50 and the 100, right? You can see the 50 is at 187, the 100's at 189. It looks like we closed at about 188 on after hours, right? So that has filled. I wouldn't be too surprised if there's a catch at 181. I think 181 might hit, but look, we've been talking about break the 200 and run for a while, all right? It tried to do it in November. It couldn't do it. It tried to do it in July, August, September of 23. It couldn't do it. Tried, couldn't. Tried, couldn't. Tried, couldn't. This fourth attempt in a relatively short window of attempts, this could be an interesting one, all right? If we get over this, I think that's our money line, 208. I'm going to set myself a 208 alert. If 208 breaks, oh my goodness, all right? TLRY, it's been a while since this one's been the king of the charts, the queen of the charts for my ladies out there, but let's see what happens, all right? TLRY, let me know your thoughts, let me know your opinions. Otherwise, CGC, my goodness, look, the story here, hey, really quickly, if you can please subscribe and share, it'd be much appreciated, all right? Look, the story here was if you lose 455, you will quickly lose 405 and then fall into the black hole abyss that is all-time lows, all right? The one thing I keep saying about all-time lows is you need a miracle. You need the heavens to part, the sun to shine directly on the stock, and miracle to hit. And you know what? It seems like that's what Kamala did here, all right? Her urge to quickly reschedule is arguably the second most important urge in the nation, right? Unless Biden himself said it, the president said it. You know what I mean? So that is miracle level news. That is take me out of the black hole. That is what gets a stock over the 8 and the 20. Again, I talked about post-market on TLRY. You can see the big pop that's pushing us, right? Red makes for beautiful green, right? So there's room here, right? There is room here. Kind of like I said on, oh man, is that where we're at? Yeah, look at that. That's actually pretty much where we're at. 340, maybe 3, dude, it seems like this one might keep going. I like that we've nicely just broken that. We couldn't quite get into that. It really does seem like this wants to come to the 50 moving average. Look, this one's been in so much pain. This has been in so much pain. You know what I mean? Like red. We'll make, I think, a quick green here. So, and again, I think I never want a stock to do bad, all right? Again, I always say it. I don't do options. I'm not shorting anything. I'm just a guy that likes to buy in good places and sell in better places, right? I don't do that every time, unfortunately, but when I do, it makes me smile, right? And to me, this is the example of just wait. All right, now look, am I sad that I missed the 11% day? Am I sad that I missed the post-market run? That was almost a 30% run that day. Am I sad? No, I'm not. Because look, to me, it feels like this should be sustainable. And if it's sustainable, there's no rush to get in. There should be more green candles to share with everyone, you know? And when you bottom chase, I think worse things happen than jump in the middle and ride a little bit more. And I'll tell you, there have been times when I even missed them. I missed the beginning. I missed the middle. I still crushed it at the end. You know what I mean? So look, I'm glad if you hit this all, believe me. But to me, the better move is just avoid this. Avoid going from 450 to below 3. That's a scary drop for anyone, all right? And jump in when it seems a little better, right? So what would I be looking for? Again, look, if it seems like this thing's going to continue, if this thing breaks, if this thing can get over $3.63, oh, we should climb all the way to basically 4. You can see the 50 moving average is at $3.96, right? So that should break to that. Otherwise, hey, there might be a small retraction at 325. I don't even think that'll happen. I don't know. But more than anything, I'm not here thinking we're going to lose the 8 and the 20 anymore. I'm here wondering what lines are going to break and where I might jump into any one of these, right? Because again, it seems like weed is ready, right? So I'm not looking at the weekly charts on any of these, all right? Because again, this is very much day to day. This is, let's see where these next couple candles go, and then we'll kind of look long term. But this is very much day to day. My kitty wants to get out. Hold on, let me let her out. What are you doing? What are you doing? All right, there we go. Sorry about that. So, yeah, let me know your thoughts. Let me know your opinions. Otherwise, let's come into MSOS. All right, MSOS. I am a little surprised this one didn't pop more from the Kamala Harris sound. All right, really quickly, if you can please subscribe, if you can please share, that'd be much appreciated. All right. I think in some ways I got a little greedy, wondering why this one didn't go to 30. Because again, this one's an ETF, right? ETFs are meant to move slower. ETFs are a combination of several stocks that should, kind of balance each other out and this and that, right? Like an ETF is not where you go aggressive. An ETF is where you go safe. And in a lot of ways, this is like the NASDAQ running 3% in one day, or the S&P 5. Like you don't see 3-4% on a single day. You see 0.5, point something, maybe 1, maybe 1.2. So I think this 14 regular hour is a monster. I probably was a little greedy. But yeah, I was a little surprised that Kamala Harris's comment, which obviously are very much US focused, didn't help the multi-state operator ETF go up more, right? Again, big volume pop, big double-digit day. I think I'm just being a little greedy, right? But to me, this should help the US tickers a little more, right? Now, reschedulization, actually, from what I've heard, and please, if you have better info than I am, like I would love for you to share it, right? We have a beautiful two-way street here of info, but reschedulization actually does help these companies financially. I've heard that the terms of deals might actually change. Better percentages on loans might come from this because, again, you're no longer dealing with the most regulated Schedule 1 horribleness products. You're now, a little looser, a little closer to maybe, legalization, blah, 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 right? So this should help the multi-state operators financially, and then obviously it should help with volume and the forward-thinking thought of just pure legalization, right? So, but remember, when you're thinking of the MSOS ETF, a really good thing to do is dive into the individuals inside, right? TrueLeave, really big ticker, really big holding, all right? You can see it. Post market didn't actually do much here. Interesting. Oh yeah, this is a pink stock. There is no over the counter here. I mean, there is no post market here. Excuse me. But interesting to see. Look at what finally happened. We are over our resistance line. All right. We actually do a real good job of never even losing the 8 and the 20. So this thing makes a good run, has a kind of bad fall. I can't pretend otherwise, right? But nicely recovers and looks like it's about to rerun from the Kamala Harris comments, right? So this looks lovely. All right. Again, MACD, RSI picking up volume. Last 4 days were horrible. Friday was beautiful, right? My other kitty looks like she. Do you want to go outside too? What are you yelling for? Oh my goodness. I'm so sorry. All right. There we go. So again, loving what TrueLeave looks like, all right? Back of my head, if all those are post-market runners, this one should be a morning runner, right? And look at the channel we are talking about. Red. Green. Red. Green. Whole mess of nothing for almost 2.5 years. Oh my, 1.5 years, excuse me. But nonetheless, since 2020, the entirety of 2023 was nothing. And then we start, this is a beautiful 40% channel, all right? Maybe 1245 will be a little bit of a resistance, but honestly, I like this channel. I can see it going. I love the low RSI, the MACD picking up. TrueLeave, this should do well. That should help MSOS. Let's take a look at CURLF, CURLF. CURLF Holdings. Looky. 21% runner. All right. Again, another one that is a 5-letter pink stock. So there is no post market here, right? So you gotta believe if oh, that's weird. Whoa. What? CURLF? It's a pink stock. This shouldn't move after hours. That's weird. I don't know what that means. Nonetheless, whatever. I think you get the comments that are echoing, right? Again, you still see the volume pop. You're still seeing the MACD RSI recovery. This actually is sitting over all the moving averages. Not as monster a channel, but again, going from $5 to $6 is a quick 20%. No, yeah, 1/5, 20% move, right? And then after that is really where things can pick up, because over 663, goodness. All right, I'm not going to draw the next lines. I think there's still ways to go to this 660, but goodness, right? And again, if the bigger of the what's another one? I'm not that good at the MSOS ETF. Throw me some other tickers that I should probably start including on this review when I'm looking at MSOS, and I'll start doing that for sure, right? But there's a lot to like, and it seems like if the heavy hitters in this ETF are going to move, this one should as well and continue, right? So much to like. Clearly, one more time, it seems like this should focus on the US multi-state operators a little more too, right? So loving this. Not HTIT, high tide. All right. Let me start with two things. Well, let me start with three things really quickly. If you can please subscribe, please share. It does wonders with these algorithms, all right? There were earnings. I saw on the Discord, it was actually this morning, looks like there were at least opinions that High Tide had good earnings, all right? Let me know what you think. You know I don't look at headlines, so I honestly don't know. But the one thing I've kept saying about High Tide, and it's the same thing I say about any stock, all right? When you have a stock and you have an executive team that's really good at hitting earnings, you can expect it to happen again. Now, you know I am deathly afraid of earnings, all right? I am someone that considers themselves a decent trader. I know what to be afraid of, right? The joke I make is, look, if I was, and I'm not, believe me, but if I was the strongest man in the world, I would not jump into the ocean and fight like a gang of sharks without a cage around me, right? Like, you gotta know what your fears and what your limits are, even if you're the best at something, right? And I love a company that's really good at delivering earnings. I do. I love it. In the back of my head, I always believe they're going to do it again because they know what to. There's a phrase which is basically, man, I don't know how to say it cleanly, but essentially, look, you set low expectations and then you deliver better. All right. And to me, I like a company that knows how to set hittable guidance. All right. I know people want to give good guidance, and good guidance, and probably better guidance than what's realistic. I don't like that. Under deliver, overachieve. That's what I wanted to say. If you under deliver and overachieve, that's an amazing thing in the market, and that helps hit. And again, from what I'm getting from my viewers, these have been an amazing string of earnings. So again, I got one that said it was good. What I don't know is this volume because of good earnings, or is this volume because of the Kamala Harris comments, all right? Obviously, there's going to be a mix of both. I'm not pretending it's 100% of one and one, right? When theoretically good earnings hits and you got some good news, oh, that's a monster combination, right? But I'm actually not sure if Kamala's comments masked decent to okay earnings, or if others agree, if actually people believe that this was good earnings, and on top of that, we've got good news for the sector, right? I think this volume spike makes me think it was both good. Earnings was good and news was good, right? Because just kind of, I'm going to rerun through the stocks just in case you fast forward it. Great volume jump, but not monster. All right, CGC, sorry, fat fingers. Great volume jump, nothing monster, right? MSOS had a little bit more, and again, like I said, this was more US focused news, so that kind of makes sense. High Tide's Canadian, right? High Tide's Canadian, right? So, you know, I think if it was just Kamala, maybe I would have expected volume to be a little closer to that, like a little less than half, actually, a lot less than half. I think if it mimicked the rest of the sectors, it actually would have been under 500K, because most of them were just a smidgen above the 50-day line, right? So I think this volume is actually making me believe that earnings were good too. But again, let me know what you think. More than anything, we got to break 193, because we've been living in these moving averages for a little bit too long. Truth be told, it feels like we should run. The one thing that's bothering me, because I see it, post-market, I started the video with it. This one didn't run like the other ones did. So I don't know if it's an earnings kind of, I don't know. Nonetheless, I believe the sector will be strong enough to lift them all. So let me know your thoughts about earnings. I do believe we're going to head to this 193. And again, if 193 breaks, that's where things will be interesting, because that's what we were hunting not that long ago, right? So, yeah, you know what? Let me end it with this. We have been well under the 200 for the longest time, but not in the longest time either. Since this run, and look, obviously we wanted more right here. This was obviously a little scary. Even this downturn a little bit the last couple of weeks was scary, right? We always maintain the 200, and that on its own is a good thing. It even looks like this 100 moving average has become an interesting support on its own too. So good things developing here. Good news from the vice pres. Let's see what happens going into Monday, but nonetheless, it's hard to look anywhere else come Monday, all right? Let me know your thoughts. Let me know your opinions. Oh, I appreciate you all so much.